All right, guys, welcome back. Power rankings heading to week 8. The good thing about my power rankings is not a lot of things change because I know what I'm doing and I know which teams are better than the others and I know which teams should be ranked higher than the others. So, not a lot has changed, really, right? So, I've done 21 teams now. I'm expanding it because I'm like, this team should be in there, but they're probably not. And we're going with the Commanders, right? The Commanders are 21. They're the 21st best team right now. Jane Daniels just got hurt. Their defense is so bad. I thought Dan Quinn is a defensive coordinator. This guy had the Dallas Cowboys looking good. See, the problem with Dan Quinn is the Seattle Seahawks back in the day looking good. The problem with Dan Quinn is when he becomes a head coach, he forgets that he is paid to have a good defense. He's paid to have a good defense, and he doesn't bring it, right? Their team is just bad right now. They're really bad. Lost 2 straight. Lost to the Bears. Lost to the this week to the Cowboys. Got shellacked by the Cowboys. I mean, they are at 21 right now, right? That's a fair place to put them. Next, 20, Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are bad. They're really bad, right? Brian Thomas drops the ball a lot. Trevor Lawrence holds the ball too long. He doesn't want to hit the open guy right away on the 8-yard check down or 8-yard hitch route. He doesn't want to do that. He always wants to take a deep shot to Brian Thomas or Hunter or Washington, all these guys, right? And he doesn't take what the defense is giving to him. The Rams today, they went on an early lead, right? They led 14-0 after the first quarter, had basically controlled the game, and Jacksonville Jaguars wouldn't take what the Rams were giving them with the underneath throws, the runs. They were getting 5 to 6 yards of carry, but they weren't committing to the run because they were down 14-0, then 21-0 at halftime. So the Jaguars, I mean, they're really bad. They're really holding on to that Chiefs win, but that's basically it. The Chiefs beat themselves. The Jaguars aren't a good team. They're not a good team. I can't see it. I mean, I know they beat the 49ers with Brock Purdy, but that was with Brock Purdy, not Mac Jones. So I'm putting them at 20. Next, 19, Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys is a really, really fun team to watch, right? One of the most entertaining teams to watch. I know people hate them. They're America's team. I know everybody hates them, right? Quote unquote America's team. They are fun to watch. George Pickens is electric. He catches everything. It's a fade ball. He catches everything. It's a 9 route. CeeDee Lamb had a big touchdown, a 70-plus yard touchdown today. Dak Prescott looks like a top 5 quarterback. If you guys are gonna hate and say he's not, you have to watch him. You have to watch him play. He's that good. He's that talented. Dak Prescott's a good player, and their defense looks pretty good. They put a lot of pressure on Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels got hurt. Mariota was under a lot of pressure. Their team, the Dallas Cowboys, if their defense gets a little bit better and they can compete, they probably can compete for a wild card spot. I can't not see them not doing that because they're 3-3-1. Yeah, they're 3-3-1. They had a bad loss against Carolina, which they're probably the better team, but maybe not. Rico Dowdle had other things to say about it. But again, they're at 19. Next, we have Carolina Panthers at 18, the team that they beat last week. Carolina Panthers. I'm not a Bryce Young fan, right? I made it perfectly clear I'm not a Bryce Young fan. But they're beating teams that they should beat, right? They're at home against Cowboys, which was a 50-50 game. It's 5 out of 10 times, right? It's a coin flip who's going to win that game. And the Carolina Panthers showed it's their time to win. And then they beat the Jets. Then they beat the Dolphins. They beat teams that they should beat. And that's what you do if you're an average team in the NFL. You don't want to lose those games where you should be winning. You don't want to have be a team as if the Patriots beat the Bills, who the Bills are looking at as a powerhouse of the NFL, and then the Patriots will turn around and lose to the Titans this week. You don't want that because then it just swings momentum. Like, why are we losing the Titans? Why are we playing a close game with the Titans when we just beat the Bills? But the Panthers are doing what they're supposed to do, right? They're supposed to be beating bad teams, and they are beating bad teams. And you can't fault them. Bryce Young got injured. Andy Dalton came in. I don't know. I think it's his ankle injury, but I don't know if he's out or not. Carolina Panthers, Dave Canales, one of the best head coaches in the NFL by far. Not even close. He should be somewhere else because he needs to be with somebody that can actually have a chance of winning. He's that good of a head coach. Their O-line, they're running the ball. Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard didn't run the ball well today, but Rico Dowdle ran the ball well today. Carolina Panthers look pretty decent. Their O-line is good. Next is the Chargers. The Chargers have a problem, and it is defensively. The Penn State kid Warren for the Colts tight end was having a field day today. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns, dominant. I mean, The Chargers defense was really bad. Really bad. They can't pass protect. They can't play defense. But they're what are they? 4-3? 4-3 now? Is that what they are? Let me check. They are 4-3, yeah. And they have a negative 12. They have a negative 12 point differential. So they are getting blown out and winning close. And that's basically what that means. And you don't want that if you're a Charger fan like I am. And it's sad to see because they actually had a lot of promise. No Khalil Mack, no Rashawn Slater, no Joe Alt. They had a lot of promise coming into the year to be a good team, a top contending team with Jim Harbaugh. And injuries really, really taking their toll on them, right? They barely beat the Miami Dolphins, who was lowly 1-6, right? Lost to the Browns today, got smoked by the Browns today. So the Chargers, they're at 17 right now. Them and Panthers and Cowboys can obviously alternate. I think all three of those teams can alternate. But I would put them right now here because they have a good win against the Chiefs and they have a good win against the Broncos. So I have to put them here at 17. Next, 16, Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings, they are a good team if quarterbacks don't count, right? They have their Carson Wentz. I know he played decent today. He could have played a little bit better, I thought, but he played decent today. But do they have a chance? They don't have a chance. They're in that weird like that phase where you don't know if this team is wants to be contending or wants to be out, right? We don't know. We don't know with the Vikings. We don't know if they want to be a team that's just top 10 pick team or they want to be trying to compete for the division or trying to compete for a championship because their roster is good. They have good pieces on their team. Their O-line is good. They run the ball well. But I don't understand. Maybe McCarthy, if he comes back, if he's supposed to come back, Wentz is playing okay, but I mean, Wentz is not going to get you the promised land. So I don't know what the Minnesota Vikings, right? I don't know, but they're at 16 right now, and they just had a tough loss against the Eagles today, which was actually a pretty entertaining game. 15 Falcons, yeah, Falcons. People are in the comments. Hey, Falcons, the number one defense, number one offense. They're so good. This and that. Terrible. They're awful. I told you, Penix, if you watch the games, Penix cannot throw in between the numbers, cannot throw in between the hashes. Everything has to be an out route or everything has to be a crossing pattern that the guy's already crossed the middle of the field. So that's the problem with Michael Penix. If you're too obvious, it's too obvious to see what Michael Penix is good at and what he's bad at. And what he's bad at is he overthrows guys down the middle for picks. And that's a problem. And every team is understanding that right now. San Fran exploited that, barely guarded the middle of the field. Every out route was guarded, contested. They made Bijan Robinson get stuffed at the tackle for loss a lot today, or 1 yard, no yard gains. And they forced Penix to throw, and he couldn't beat him. That's just what it was. He couldn't beat him. He missed a wide open Darnell Mooney when they're down 20-10 in a 2-minute drill. I mean, they belong at 15. I put them at 15. People were clowning me saying, how are they 15? They just beat the Bills. The Bills aren't that good either. I think Atlanta Falcons at 15. I think that's a pretty fair place to put them. They're average. They're middle of the pack. 14 of the Bears. The Bears are actually a decent team. Ben Johnson, great play caller. I love Ben Johnson. He's a good player caller. And Caleb Williams is figuring it out. I think he had a bad pick today. Was it him that had a bad pick today? Let me check if that is actually true and accurate. Where is this guy at? Okay. Here he is. Yeah, so Caleb Williams, yeah, he did throw a bad pick. No touchdowns today, one bad pick, but they ran the ball over them. If they could run the ball and play action, that's what you want. That's Ben Johnson offense right there. That's what the Lions did last year when Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator. That's what you want. You want to make it easier for Caleb Williams as a second-year quarterback to ease into games and play well and look good. That's what you want. So again, I would absolutely have the Bears here. The Bears, again, they're beating teams that they should beat, right? The only thing the loss they had that was kind of not favorable was the Vikings, but they're on a 4-game win streak, right? They beat the Cowboys, they beat the Raiders, they beat the Commanders, now they beat the Saints. They're having good wins. They belong at 14. I agree with this assessment. Again, wow, man, I'm on a roll. Pittsburgh Steelers 13. People were hating on me. I had them 11. They were like, Pittsburgh Steelers are really good. They're really good. They're old. They're not going to hold up. Jalen Ramsey got exposed badly by Jamar Chase. But again, you guys are going to say Jamar Chase exposes everybody. but you don't pay Jalen Ramsey the money you pay him to get exposed that bad. Jalen Ramsey and I had the same exact chance of guarding Jamar Chase, which was 0, right? We had no chance. We had a better chance of winning an Oscar, and we don't even act. That's how much bigger of a chance we had. He had no chance of guarding Chase. Chase was killing him. T. Higgins was killing him. Their offense, they have no wide receiver. DK Metcalf, decent receiver. Not a number one, I believe, in my opinion. Calvin Austin, all these Steelers fans are saying Calvin Austin. Bro, he didn't even play. If Calvin Austin, your number 2 receiver, that's sad. You shouldn't. That's an indicator right there that you're not winning a championship. So again, I would have to put the Steelers at 13. They could probably get better. They have a tough schedule. They play the Packers next week. They play the Colts. They play the Chargers. They have a really tough schedule. We'll see what they're made out of. They play the Ravens when Lamar Jackson's back. We'll see what they're made out of. But right now, I have them at 13. At 12, I have Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, they were at 10 last week. They haven't played. They're on a bye, but I have to put them at 12 because I see other teams that are more impressive than them. They're not an impressive team right now. They barely beat Miami, as in they didn't look good, and they didn't look good against the Saints. They got smoked by the Patriots. They're not a good team. They have no receiving options, and that's an actual issue. What's the point of Josh Allen? Having a good old line if these receivers can't get open? If he has to scramble for these receivers to create separation, he has to wait an extra 3 beats, extra 3 seconds for Shakir, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel to get open. That's not fair to him. So they're at 12 right now. Their defense is terrible. Also, really bad rush defense. Bijan Robinson last week killed them. Right. So I'd have to put him at 12. That's a favorite spot to put him right now. At 11, I have San Fran 49ers. Right. They just beat the Falcons. They're injured. No Fred Warner. They still get the job done. But I don't hold the Falcons to a high standard. Right. I don't hold the Falcons as a good team. I hold them as a middle of the pack team. So I don't think that win really did any justification for them. They really couldn't score on the Falcons, even though people say the Falcons have a really good defense, which I disagree with. I saw Washington Commanders go up and down on them. I saw Bryce Young score 30 points on them, or 23 because they had a defensive touchdown. But again, their point differential is only +7, right? They didn't look good against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You saw we could gauge where Mac Jones is as a quarterback, right? He's not a franchise guy. He's probably a bridge guy, like where you could, if you have a good team around him, he can get you to a playoff game. That's where you have Mac Jones. But they're at 11 right now. I think there's other teams that are better than them. Like their team right here, the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos just played a game where they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter, and they came back in a game where Jackson Dart and the Giants basically gave that game away. I think that they more lost that game than Denver won it. Terrible pick by Jackson Dart with like 3 minutes left in that game. Up 2 scores. And Denver Broncos, they belong to be at number 10. I think the Denver Broncos are actually a decent team. I think Bo Nix he's hot and cold, right? He's inconsistent. This is a reason why I did not put him as franchise quarterback. I put him young and unproven. And people were ridiculing me on my YouTube video saying, why is Bo Nix not in franchise quarterback? He's not a franchise quarterback, guys. He's not. We have to see it. I don't know yet. Teams adjust. You can't judge a quarterback after 8 games, right? Because if that's the case, then that means CJ Stroud's the best player ever, right? Because after the first 9 games with the Houston Texans, everybody thought he was a top 5 quarterback, better than Justin Herbert, better than Joe Burrow. Everybody thought that CJ Stroud was the next big thing, and we're seeing now that is not the case, right? But Denver Broncos at 10, their defense is shoddy. They're hot and cold also. They don't have a lot of good wins, but the only wins that looks good is the Bengals, where they beat their ass, which they're supposed to. You're supposed to beat these bad teams badly, and they did that there. But again, I have them at 10. Maybe they should beat the Colts. Maybe they should have beaten the Chargers, but they get a lucky win here versus the Giants, so it kind of makes up for it, and they're at 10. 9 is the Rams, right? The Rams are a good team. They're a very good team. No Puka Nacua, no problem. Devontae Adams with the worst stat padding I've ever seen in my life. 5 catches, 35 yards, 3 touchdowns. This guy was basically like Antonio Gates out there in 2024, right? And Matthew Stafford pitched a shutout. It was amazing. They could have scored any drive anytime they wanted to. They called off the dogs in the second half. They just ran the ball up the middle. And just the better team. Just the better team. They again. I can't really give that win too much flavor because the Jacksonville Jaguars are terrible, right? They're terrible, and I have to put them at 9. I mean, there's other teams that are better than them, but Matthew Stafford, they look good. They're plus 58 point differential, which is a good indicator. They just blew out the Jags in London, so I have to put them at 9. At 8, we have the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are a wishy-washy team. Their offense isn't that good as last year. I told you this. I said the Bears. I said when they played the Bears, everybody said 52 points. How their offense not that good? Watch the game. Their offense isn't as smooth as it used to be. I promise you. I'm not crazy. Their offense isn't that smooth. They have no Ben Johnson, right? Taylor Decker's out. Their offense isn't that smooth, and their defense is average. Their secondary is all hurt and banged up, which is fine. But they're the 8th best team, and then people right now are gonna be upset because I put them at 8. It's just the truth. You have to put them at 8, especially with their losses and wins, right? They lost the Packers, good team, right? They lost to the Chiefs, good team, but they also only beat the Bears, which they should have beat. They beat the Ravens, and the Ravens, we know their defense is bad. They beat the Browns, what they should, and they beat the Bengals, what they should. So they beat the team that they should, and that's what you want. You want a team to beat bad. You want your team to beat bad teams, so then it doesn't look bad on their record, right? Or their gameplay. But if you watch the in between the stuff, they don't look as good as they used to, and that's just the truth. So they're at 8. At 7, I have the New England Patriots. New England Patriots are a good team. They're a really good team. I think their defense is decent. I don't know if they're good, but they're decent. I think they get good pressure. They had a defensive touchdown today versus the Titans. Cam Ward really couldn't do anything against them, right? And besides the first quarter where they scored 10 points, they only scored 3 the last 3 quarters. So Vrabel coming back to Tennessee did a great job today. Drake May was awesome today. He balled out of his mind. I think he only had 2 incompletions or something crazy like that. Am I crazy if I said that? Drake May 21 for 23, 2 incompletions, balled out. Their offensive their rushing game looked good today. Ramondre Stevenson had 88 yards. Stephon Diggs played well. They're a good team. You have to put them at 7. You have to put respect on the Patriots now. I think the Patriots, they're 4-0 away. They're good. They play the Browns. They play the Falcons. They play the Buccaneers. So they should win 2 of the 3 of those games and should improve their record to, what are they, 5-2 right now? They will be 7-3. Yeah. So that's what they should be right now in 3 weeks. And if they're not, then they're probably not a top 7 team, right? 6 is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I had Tampa Bay Buccaneers up earlier, but I'm assuming that the Lions Buccaneers game is going to be close. Obviously, whichever team wins that is going to have a significant jump up in the rankings, maybe 2 spots, because that's a premier matchup that other teams didn't have a chance to do this week. And Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good team, right? Baker Mayfield's one of the front runners for MVP, him and Pat Mahomes, I think, and Daniel Jones, obviously. But those 3 are the front runners, and Baker Mayfield, I think he's the most valuable. I don't know if any other quarterback played for that team that he would be doing the things that team would be winning the way that they do because of him, right? 3rd and 14 versus San Fran, gets the first down on a freaking breaking 4 tackles. Looked good. So I have to put Tampa Bay at 6. I had them higher last week, but again, they haven't played yet, so I'm just waiting to see that Lions versus Tampa Bay matchup, and I have them at 6. At 5, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they beat them quite soundly. They were the better team, so I had to put them over them. And they looked back against the Minnesota Vikings. Jalen Hurts played well today, couple touchdowns. AJ Brown looked really good today, right? Their run game didn't look as good, but if they relied on the pass, Devontae Smith had a career day today. So they relied on the pass, and Jalen Hurts proved everybody wrong that he's just not a handoff merchant and read option merchant. He can actually throw the ball, and he has a beautiful deep ball. So they're a good team. I had to put them at 5. I don't know if their defense is that good, though, but I had to put them at 5, right? Fair. 4, Seahawks. They haven't played yet, but they play the Texans. They're 3.5 favorites. I'm assuming that they're going to win that game. Sam Darnold went against DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans last year when he was with the Vikings. They beat him 34-7. So I'm expecting them to play well against the Texans and most likely beat the Texans. Sam Darnold's playing well. He's playing like the fourth MVP candidate, right? And Stafford as well. Damn, there's a lot of MVP candidates actually. So Seattle's playing well. They just beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they, again, not a great win, but they have good wins on their record. I think they're a really good team. Their defense is coming back. No Witherspoon, no Tariq Woolen, no Love. DeMarcus Lawrence just came back last week, had 2 sacks. So this team is getting healthy, and I have to put them at number 4. I think they're a really good team. I think there's a fair place to put them. At number 3, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are a very, very, very good team. Now they have Rashee Rice back. I don't know who's going to stop this team. This team can score. They just, everybody goes vertical, and then they have everybody checking down. They have Pacheco in check down. They have Hunt in check down. They have Juju Smith-Schuster in check down. They have Noah Gray. They have Travis Kelce. Their team is stacked. People are going to say, how is their team different than they have no-name receivers also, just like the Bills? Wrong. Xavier Worthy, first-round pick. Rashee Rice, I think second-round pick. So, and he was a really good receiver at SMU. So we have good pieces around him. Travis Kelce, Hall of Famer, probably best tight end ever, or one of. And then you have just great pieces around you. Marquise Brown was a first-round pick. They have good talent. So you have to put respect on the Kansas City Chiefs. And they're not beating themselves. The last 2 weeks, they haven't beat themselves. Versus the Jaguars, they beat themselves. But they did not versus the Raiders, where they held them scoreless, right? And they didn't against the Lions, right? They played the Lions. They beat down the Lions. They were clearly the better team. So you have to put them at 3. Even though they're 3-3, that's their record right now. You have to watch the games and see how good they're actually playing. They are balling out right now. And they're 4-3, excuse me. They're 4-3 plus 62-point differential, which leads the AFC West. Amazing. They're an amazing team. They're number 3 right now. They're probably going to win the division again. And at number 2, we have the Colts, right? The Colts with Daniel Jones. My guy, Daniel Jones. I love Daniel Jones, right? I said in college when he was a sophomore at Duke, I said, this guy's going to take over, and he's going to be the guy in the NFL, first-round pick, bona fide. And he was. And he proved me right. He is just that good. If you give him time to throw, he's so completely accurate. You have a good run game with them. They beat the crap out of the Chargers. Chargers, I think, were favored today in that game, and they beat the dog crap out of them. So Indianapolis Colts are a very good team. Their defense isn't that great, though. The Cardinals gave up a lot. Scored a lot on them. But the Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett isn't that bad either. They're not a bad team, right? They're better than that than Kyler Murray. So you have to put respect on the Colts. The Colts are a very good team. Who do they play? Who have they played? They played the Steelers one time. They play the Titans, the Steelers, the Falcons. They should go 3-0. Maybe the Steelers will be a close game, but they should beat the Titans badly. They should beat the Falcons in Germany. I think that game is the Falcons game. But they should handle work and be at the end of all this probably 8-2 after the next 3 weeks, maybe 9-1. And they should be the AFC leaders after AFC conference leaders after the first 10 weeks, right? And we have to go to number 1 right now. And number 1 is obvious. It's the Green Bay Packers, right? The Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFL right now. It's close between them, the Colts, the Chiefs. Those 3 are very, very close. I think those 3 are not head and shoulders, but ahead over the other competition, right? I think they're a good team. The Green Bay Packers. Micah Parsons, 3 sacks today. Golden played well. Romeo Doubs played well. Jordan Love didn't play as well as he should have, but he played well enough to get the win. And you don't want to be that team that ekes out wins against teams that you should beat, right? They should be killing. They should be killing the Bengals. They should be killing the Cardinals. They should be beating these teams by a lot, the same way that the Lions are beating these teams by a lot. But the Green Bay Packers, they have something that the Lions don't have, and that is very, very, very good play calling. And the Matt LaFleur right now is just on another level. They called timeout. Listen to this. It was 4th down and 3 or 4 with like 2:40 left. They only have 2 timeouts left. They're driving. They can kick a field goal. They can kick a field goal to tie the game and maybe go to overtime. But nope, they go for it on 4th and 4. They burn a timeout, go for it on 4th and 4, get it to Tucker Kraft. He catches the ball. They score with Josh Jacobs later. Just beautiful play by the Green Bay Packers. They're that good. They're that confident. And they're the number 1 team right now, I believe. I think they're just that good, right? But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you.